mention the Chicago Cubs in your perfect day, or as he said, his best day involves the Irish Oak. What say you, Brian Linke?
Okay, Bob. I only have. There's only so much time. I mean, I have a lot of perfect days. But yes, Bob. No, at the Irish Oak with you, absolutely, he's got to be up there in the top 3, 4.
That's a Denver Broncos bar, by the way.
It is a Denver Broncos bar. No, and Wrigley Field is just a whole nother thing. And yeah. I mean, it's an amazing thing. You know, like I said before, Matt Hoskins and I were season ticket holders this year. Haven't been to a game yet, but we're hoping things turn around and we can sit in our seats at least one time in 2020.
Absolutely. And Laurel Ann, Chase Dunn, all the others who are watching, thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to watch the chat and keep people interactive. We're going to go to our second question here, and I always, when I'm putting these together, I have a whole list of ideas and things. And so one of them is lists of things where I want these guys to choose what's the best of something. And today, it's one of the things that are nearest and dearest to me, basketball movies. There isn't a basketball movie, though I think there is one that I haven't seen yet. Was it Matt Damon had one? I can't remember. There's one that just came out, and I haven't watched that one. Ben Affleck. Did you? All right.
Just watched
All right. So I don't know. So you can give us a review on that. What's it called again?
It's called The Way something.
The Way Back?
The Way Back.
Way Back, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So I haven't seen that. So I gave them 4 basketball movies. The 4 movies are Hoosiers, Glory Road, White Men Can't Jump. Multiple of these have Indiana connections because we are where basketball has grown. And He Got Game. We'll figure out where the Indiana connections are in all of these. But let's just start talking about these movies. Then we'll all each choose which one is our favorite. I'm going to go with White Men Can't. I think the oldest one is Hoosiers in that list. Let's go Hoosiers. Hoosiers, I think, was 1986 when it was first put out. Do you remember, Brian Linke, the first time you ever saw Hoosiers with Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper, and the amazing Barbara Hershey, and of course the Dr. Steve Holler playing in it? We'll talk about that in a second. I'll let Brian fill that one in. Brian, do you remember first time seeing Hoosiers?
Yeah, I was in the theater. And the question is the best basketball movie of all time. Hoosiers, Glory Road, White Men Can't Jump, and He Got Game. Okay, let me tell you something. That's not even a question. We need to eliminate the last 3. Hoosiers is in a landslide, is by far and away the best basketball movie of all time.
Okay, I was trying to create a little bit of anticipation because I knew that. I fully agree with that. But the others have some redeeming points because I love the true stories. Glory Road being the true story of the coach from what is now UTEP, what was it, Texas Southwestern at the time, or Texas Western?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, Hoosiers was like, I remember the first time I saw it. I didn't see it in the theater. I was only 9. I remember the first time we went to the Broadway Video in Warsaw, Indiana. I went with my parents and we rented the VHS tape. I watched it so many times. That tape was never returned. We just paid for it because I just kept it. I own 3 versions of the VHS. I own the digital version. I own the DVD, and I own the enhanced DVD set because I've watched Hoosiers more times than I can count. I used to watch the closing 10 minutes every day before every middle school and high school basketball game that I could. I would sit. I would just rewind it 10 minutes because it was always at the end back in the day when I had to rewind things, and I'd watch the closing 2 minutes. Now, I got to ask, Danny Shard, you didn't grow up or have never lived in Indiana. Have you, I'm assuming you've seen Hoosiers. I haven't even asked that. What do you remember ever connecting with Hoosiers the first time?
Yeah, I've seen Hoosiers, of course. I don't think you can consider yourself a sports fan if you haven't seen Hoosiers, although it's not my favorite basketball movie, but it's an older movie. I mean, you got Dennis Hopper, who's hammered the whole time. And then
it's a classic. What do you mean?
Yeah, it is a classic. I mean, Hackman's good. It's a great movie, but it's not my favorite. There's quite a few other good ones that I'll talk about.
Jay, did you see Mr. Kramer just piped in and said, "How about the fish that saved Pittsburgh?" Okay, Bob, go have another Bloody Mary, and we'll talk to you in a little bit.
How about this? Teen Wolf is a basketball movie.
If you're gonna add another movie, add Space Jam. I mean, right? I mean,
and they're making another Space Jam. I mean, how much fun is that? And I was trying to
LeBron.
Yes,
they are. They are.
Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox.
Oh my God.
That's a basketball movie.
What is happening? Okay, this show is slowly going downhill.
We have lowered our capability. Yeah, so I will. One of those. Hopefully, if you ever are watching, I know it's working on Facebook. Facebook was apparently, I started a watch party and then it just started looping. I have no idea why. So exit out of the watch party and watch it on the Papertech page or the My Papertech page. It's all working. I just checked. Obviously Robert's staying with us and others are staying with us in real time. What I'm interested in, okay, of those other three, Danny, He Got Game, White Men Can't Jump, Glory Road. Do you think one of those is better than Hoosiers?
I have never seen Glory Road, so I can't talk about that. I need to watch it. I'm telling you, White Men Can't Jump is one of my all-time favorite movies, period. It's great. But pairing that with He Got Game, I mean, the story of Jesus Shuttlesworth and you got Denzel in there, that's a great movie. That's a great movie. And it's more about life and following this kid and how he's just amazing athlete, kind of coming out of high school and getting the opportunities he's getting. It's pretty cool watching He Got Game. But White Men Can't Jump, I think that's one of the top basketball movies of all time.
I do remember seeing White Men Can't Jump for the first time. It was like one of the first R-rated movies. I mean, that movie was a pretty hard R, not for the time, when it came out. And I remember watching it, and I was connected to, so Woody Harrelson was our claim to fame in Indiana because he went to Hanover College and, he went to college in Indiana. So we were like, hey, yet another Indiana person. And he, came from Cheers. And, but that movie, like just the whole idea of the 2-on-2 street ball and the amazing, yes, like the whole it was a great game, a great movie. I've actually, when I was typing this up the other day and then I put the question in last night, I was like, man, I need to go back and watch that movie because I haven't seen that one in a long time. I recently showed my kids Glory Road, and He Got Game I saw within the last year somehow. I don't even remember how, but I haven't seen White Men Can't Jump in a long time. Brian, what were your memories of White Men Can't Jump?
I mean, it's a comedy, Woody Harrelson. What's the other guy's name? Denzel, what's the name?
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Whatever. Wesley Snipes. Okay, whatever it is.
Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes are very different actors.
So we get it,
okay?
I don't even really consider it a basketball movie, but the other movie that's not on here is One on One with Robbie Benson. The thing is, it's way before your time, so nobody here even knows what that movie is, but nope. I think it was in 1977 or 78. So go back and Google that one because that one's got to be close to the top.
These are some really good movies, really good. I mean, and the thing is, you can't choose. Hoosiers to me still is the greatest basketball sports movie. There's just something iconic about it. Gene Hackman coming and the whole storyline of the movie being made. That they wrote the movie, they pitched it, they couldn't get it made. Then they get Gene Hackman, from Apocalypse Now, and I don't know what he had done by that time, but he was a major actor, and Barbara Hershey and Dennis Hopper, who plays every good crazy man. And I just remember, man, that movie is so good. Okay, I'm going to stop. There is a Warsaw, Indiana, PayProTech headquarters where Brian Linke lives, connection to Dr. Steve Holler. And I forget what it says, blanking on his character name. Do you remember, Brian?
All I know about Steve Holler is I owe him a lot of money. All right. I try not to think about it, but
yes.
But getting back to Hoosiers real quick, when the kids, I coached a bunch of basketball teams, a couple of basketball teams with my partner in crime, Jen Sales, and when the kids always say, "Oh, coach, it's too cold to go outside and shoot. It's too cold," and I always say the same thing. Jimmy Chitwood's out there shooting. Okay, so that will always be something that I'll remember. What was his name? Hack something like that. Holler was in that movie. I can't remember.
I can't either. All right, moving on. I have.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay, back. You get it. All right.
It is absolutely criminal that Blue Chips is not on this list.
Oh my. Well, okay. I was just choosing 4. This was not meant to be exhaustive. I was trying to limit down. But Blue Chips Nick Nolte and all of his craziness certainly built off the storyline of the height of Bobby Knight at IU was the inspiration of that movie. But yeah, it was a very good movie. I'm not saying it wasn't one of the top movies. I just had to limit it down. But Blue Chips is a good movie.
It's the definition of players that are awesome coming out of high school, going into the NCAA and getting gifts, right? Getting money, getting cars, getting houses, getting all these things. So they'll play for this university. And I mean, that's been going on for decades, right? I mean, that's such a great story. And you got Anthony Hardaway in that movie. You've got Shaq. There's a couple other really top names in there, but that's a great movie. And he kicks the basketball just like Bobby Knight did in the movie. So.
Okay, moving on.
It is. All right. So I am going to bring up another camera. We are going to play a little game of, what is this called? Trivial Pursuit All-Star Sports Edition. I found this last night in the cupboard, and we're going to bring up some questions for Mr. Brian Linke. Let me bring these up. I have not looked at any of the questions I'm going to pull up. The green box makes it so on my green screen you can't actually see it. That's why I pulled it up. But here is the first question. What Green Bay Packers coach, coming to Mr. Brian Linke, was dubbed JR by players because of his coldness?
JR?
Yep. All right. The answer is he was a coach later, but he was also a quarterback earlier. Bart Starr. Oh, we're going to push it in. All right. We're going to go quick.
Okay. No, nobody knows.
All right, we're going to just do a couple of these. What Detroit Tigers slugger tended to his restaurant's business while missing the first month of the 1979 season in a contract fight? Detroit Tigers player. This is a good one. All right. Rusty Staub.
Al Kaline.
Oh, that's a good one. It's Rusty Staub. All right, this one you'll know, and I got it. And then
he didn't play for the Tigers.
Well, take that up with according to Trivial Pursuit box here. I don't know.
Maybe
all right,
Expos and the Mets.
See, okay, this is amazing that he even knows the guy. So, all right, I'm going to a question that I see here that I think Mr. Danny Shard may know. How many times has golfer Arnold Palmer won a Masters jacket?
4.
3.
Ding, 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 ding. It was 4. All right, and let's go a little basketball question. What school produced Bobby Jones and James Worthy for the NBA?
North Carolina.
Absolutely. All right, and I'm just going to do this whole card because these are good questions. What elusive quarterback said, "When everything else breaks down, I don't hesitate to roam out of the pocket and do a boogaloo"?
Michael Vick.
That's older than that. Minnesota Vikings quarterback. There you go. All right, that was our questions for Trivial Pursuit. We'll bring those up again. Brian, you knew. I mean, you knew about almost all those. That was just one card. I went through every question on one card. You had something. You are the All-Star King. I'm taking you to any sports All-Star. When this opens back up, we're going to go play some trivia at a bar.
Thank you, Nate.
All right, my next question is, because this came up, I was talking to a partner today, and they just realized, so in our world, in the PayPro world, we pay residuals on the 15th of the month. They're coming up, if you look at your calendar, in case you've lost track, that's tomorrow. And people realize that, hey, this is going to go on for a little while because, we pay in arrears, and this has been going on now for 4 weeks. It took a good portion of March out of the way. It's going to take all of April, and we make money off of when people spend money. And there is certainly a major cut in spending. And so that means for us and all of us, it's time to batten down the hatches. It's time to focus and figure out what we need to do. And so when we say, oh, crap, I realize that my revenue, personal revenue, also known as, earnings, is going to go down and going to be down for a while. Let's talk about the hustle, the ideas. What are the things we need to do to make sure we're maximizing our income and lessening our expenses at this time more than ever? Brian Linky, Danny Shard, who wants to give up some ideas first?
I'll go first.
All right.
First of all, I think it's a great question, and I think it's definitely pertinent to what we're going through right now. But I think what the sales our partners need to realize is, we are extremely fortunate to have a residual income. Granted, most of us are going to see that dip a little, if not a lot, but you're going to get something. You're going to get paid something. I've come from a sales background where, you walk into the office and you see your name on the top of the board and it stays there all month. And next thing you know, it's the 30th or the 31st of the month, and you walk in the next day and that board is blank. And it's back to square one. And
2 months.
so I think we need to make sure that we realize just how fortunate we are with the residual income that and it's a lifetime residual income here at PayProTech. And I get asked that question a lot by a lot of partners that we're looking to sign up. So yeah, it's a lot. So I just think we should be fortunate to know that we're getting paid something, unless no one processes, which hopefully that won't happen. But so yeah, I just think we just need to tighten up a little bit, and just this thing will pass. I think that our residual tomorrow should be okay based on the month before, because we really weren't into this thing. I think next month may be the one that hurts a little bit more, but again, I feel fortunate the fact that my residual income,